Good morning, Hank. I was wondering when I'd hear from you. You look outside yet?
Morning, Caleb. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Looks like we got a solid 8 inches out here, and it's still coming down sideways.
At least. Drifts by my place are already up to my knees. What's the game plan?
Well, first things first, we need to get the main farm road cleared. The milk truck is scheduled to come by noon, and there is absolutely no way he's making it up the ridge in this.
Copy that. Is the big John Deere hooked up to the snowblower attachment, or is it still on the plow?
It's got the blower on it. I swapped it out yesterday afternoon because I knew this stuff was going to be too deep to just push around. The keys are in the ignition, and she's already plugged into the block heater, so she should start right up for you.
Perfect. That'll save some time. I'll head over to the machine shed now. Do you want me to just do a single pass down to the main highway, or clear it wide?
Give it a double pass if you can. Make sure it's wide enough for the truck to clear those ditches. And be careful near the north paddock. The wind is blowing hard from the west, so you'll want to aim the chute downwind, unless you want a face full of ice.
Yeah, learned that lesson the hard way last year. I'll clear the driveway to the house first so you can get your truck out if you need to. Then I'll tackle the main road.
Sounds like a plan. After the road is clear, come on inside. Martha's got a fresh pot of coffee on, and we'll figure out how we're gonna get feed out to the cattle.
Sounds good. I'm bundling up and heading to the tractor now. See you in a bit.
Stay warm out there.
About time. The weather's finally giving us a break. Found you, big guy. Let's see where the oil's at. I don't want to run you dry. Oil looks perfect. Plenty of life left. Now let's see if you're ready to clear some snow. That's what I'm talking about, big guy. The cab of the John Deere 7R smells like old flannel, diesel exhaust, and the bitter black coffee I keep locked in my thermos. Outside, the world is nothing but a blinding horizontal white. A proper snowstorm fresh off the North Sea, burying the valley under 8 inches of heavy wet powder with drifts that could swallow a calf hole. I engaged the PTO, and the big dual-stage snowblower at the back of the tractor let out a low, guttural whine before biting into a 6-foot drift. A massive column of white erupted from the chute, arcing beautifully over the fence line and disappearing into the pine trees downwind. Working for Hankor Henrik, as the older folks in the village call him, means understanding that the land doesn't care about your plans. Here in Norway, just an hour outside of Lillehammer, winter isn't a season, it's an adversary. I didn't grow up on this farm. I came here 5 years ago, looking for a change of pace from the city, and Hank took a massive gamble on a guy who barely knew how to back up a trailer. He's a stubborn man, built like an old mountain pine, with hands scarred from decades of fixing balers in sub-zero temperatures. He doesn't say much, but when he does, you listen. He taught me how to read the clouds coming over the ridge, how to tell if a cow is sick just by the way she holds her ears, and how to keep a diesel engine running when the mercury drops past -20. "Keep the RPMs up, Caleb," I muttered to myself, adjusting the joystick to angle the chute away from the north paddock fences. "Don't choke her out." The tractor crept forward, the tire biting hard into the packed ice beneath the snow. This road is the farm's artery. It winds 2 kilometers down the hillside to the main highway. If I don't keep it clear, the milk truck can't get up, the feed truck can't get in, and we are utterly isolated. Through the swirling snow, I could see the faint glow of the lights from Hank's farmhouse up on the knoll. He'd be at the kitchen table, tracking the weather radar on his tablet, probably worrying about the roof load on the old barn. He treats this place not just as a business, but as a legacy handed down through 3 generations of his family. And lately he's been treating me less like hired help and more like a partner in it. I finished the first pass, reaching the crossroads at the bottom of the hill, and threw the tractor into reverse to start the wide cut back up. The heater in the cab was blasting, but my toes were still numb inside my woolen socks. It's hard, relentless work, and the dark Norwegian winters can wear down your spirit if you let them. But as I looked back up the ridge, seeing the clean, dark path I'd just carved through the wilderness, a deep sense of satisfaction settled in my chest. There's a quiet dignity to this life. I nudged the throttle forward. Martha's coffee was waiting at the top of the hill, and we had a herd of hungry cattle to feed. It was already 4 p.m. by the time I finally wrapped up my final pass. 4 o'clock in the afternoon in a Norwegian January means the sun had already abandoned us hours ago, plunging the valley into a bitter, freezing twilight. The storm had finally broken an hour back. The howling winds had died down to a breathless whisper, and the air was so crisp and clear you could hear the pine branches creaking under the weight of the fresh snow under a canopy of early winter stars. Just as I shifted the John Deere into neutral to clear the last neat bank of snow near the main gate, 2 steady halos of bright light cut through the crisp darkness down the ridge. It was the red Volvo milk truck, right on schedule. In the absolute stillness, it looked like a great vessel gliding over a frozen silent sea. It's massive. Studded snow tires crunched rhythmically through the crisp powder, as Lars, an old-timer, who knew these mountain passes better than his own backyard. Without the blinding wind, the road looked like a perfect, dark ribbon slicing through the white wilderness. One wrong move on the packed ice could still slide 20 tons of steel and milk into the ditch. But Lars handled the wheel with the easy confidence of a man who had driven this ridge 1,000 times. I pulled the tractor onto the wide shoulder, letting the engine idle down. As the PTO went to a halt, the sudden drop in noise left only the steady, steep thrum of the diesel engine echoing off the quiet hills. Watching Lars navigate the final sharp bend leading into our farmyard. Hank was already stepping out of the milk house before the truck even came to a full stop, bundled up in his heavy canvas parka with a bright orange high-vis vest thrown over it. He gave Lars a brief, welcoming wave, a quiet acknowledgement that the lifeline to the valley was open. The Volvo brought its massive bulk to a halt right outside the tank room, its air brakes letting out a loud, pressurized hiss that shattered the evening silence. Killed the tractor's ignition, grabbed my thermos, and opened the cab door. The Norwegian cold hit me instantly, sharp, clean, and completely still, freezing the moisture in my nose the second I stepped out. I zipped my collar up past my chin, my boots crunching loudly in the knee-deep powder as I jogged over to join them in the quiet air.
Fine piece of driving, Lars.
Your boy Caleb is the only reason I'm not sitting in a ditch 2 kilometers back. The main highway is still a mess from the daytime drifts, but this road of yours, clean as a whistle. Swept better than the runway at Oslo Airport.
He knows how to handle the blower. Come on inside the milk house before the frost sets into our boots.
The valley roads are clearing up now that the wind has died. But the temperature is expected to plummet tonight. You boys are looking at minus 25 by midnight.
We've got plenty of dry birchwood for the stove, feed for the cows, and Martha just took 2 loaves of rye out of the oven. The weather's quiet now. We've survived much worse.
What about the north paddock barn? The temperature drops that fast, the automated scrapers might freeze up overnight if we don't cycle them.
We'll haul the backup generator down there just in case the lines get brittle and drop. You take the small tractor and make sure the path to the generator shed is wide enough. I'll get the heavy cables ready.
Inside the sterile warmth of the tank room, the heavy hose continues to pump milk out of the tank while Lars and Hank monitor the milk transfer, as I quietly steps back out into the freezing starlit evening. I'm gonna head out and get a head start on that generator path before Lars finishes up.
Take a small John Deere tractor. The blade on the front is nimbler for getting tight around the generator shed. And keep an eye out for hidden ice under the powder near the barn wall.
Copy that. I'll meet you down by the north paddock barn with the path cleared. Better get this diesel block turning over before the oil thickens up. It's cold out here. Minus 25 by midnight. All right, girl. Let's go carve out some ice. Inside the tank room, the deep, rhythmic throbbing of the suction hose begins to stutter, transitioning into a hollow, sucking gurgle as the final liters of milk leave the bulk tank. Lars flips the kill switch on the pump, bringing an abrupt, ringing silence back into the small room.
Well, Henrik, that's you cleaned out. 4,000 liters, give or take. Spotless as always.
Let me see the logbook.
Sign right at the bottom. I'm eager to get rigged down the road before the road decides to freeze my airline shut.
Safe travel, Lars. Keep the rubber side down on that lower ridge.
Always do. See you boys on Thursday.
Lars steps back out into the freezing night. He unhooks the heavy, flexible hose from the milkhouse wall, cups the valve, and rolls the stiffening rubber back into the side compartment of his truck. The massive Volvo engine roars to life, a thick cloud of white exhaust pluming into the starlit sky. Slowly, the tanker begins to back out of the farmyard, its bright amber hazard lights painting the pristine snowbanks in rhythmic, sweeping flashes as it disappears down the ridge.
The path looks clean, Caleb. You cleared right down to the gravel.
Thanks, Hank. The generator started right up, but the battery box on the shed wall was already throwing a bit of frost. We got it hooked up just in time.
The temperature is dropping fast. It's sharp enough to crack stone out here. Let's get the vehicle shed locked down.
Together we work in a practiced, silent rhythm. I maneuvered the tractor inside the vehicle shed, while Hank manually shifts the massive timber doors of the barn shut, blocking out the creeping frost. Inside, the cows stir softly, their warm breath rising like steam into the rafters.
That's the girls safe for the night. Automated scrapers are cycled, lines are reinforced. Nothing left to do but let winter try its worst.
Sounds good to me. My toes stopped talking to me about 20 minutes ago.
Come on up to the house. Martha's got the wood stove roaring. That coffee's been brewing, and you've more than earned a slice of that fresh rye bread.
By 9 o'clock, the coffee had done its work. The feeling was back in my toes, and the day was officially in the books. I said my goodnights to Hank and Martha, stepped back out into the freezing Norwegian night, and climbed into my own truck. Driving home down the road is always my favorite part of a night like this. The headlights cut through the absolute stillness, illuminating the pristine, high banks of snow I'd spent all afternoon carving out. Looking at it now from behind the wheel, the road doesn't just look like a path, it looks like a victory. A clean, dark ribbon of gravel and packed ice slicing right through the heart of the winter. Out here, you quickly realize that you don't ever really conquer a place like this. You just strike a deal with it. The mountain lets you stay, it lets you work, but only if you're willing to put in the time to keep the lifelines open. Down in the valley, the distant lights of the village are blinking through the freezing air, quiet and safe. Lars is probably back at the depot by now. Hank is likely putting one last log into the wood stove, and the herd is warm in the barn. It's a hard life, and the dark winters can take a piece of you if you aren't careful. But as I steer the truck toward the valley, watching my own tires follow the clean trail I left behind, I know I wouldn't trade it for anything. The road is open, the farm is safe, and tomorrow, no matter what the weather throws at us, we'll be ready.
Bring me into golden sunlight. If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a